Hola, buenos dias. Okay, so first off, apologies because my videos have been really choppy, and I think that just recording them on my tablet there was just a bad idea. So I'm doing it on my phone now, and that should be better. So I want to make this video to help you guys out in Españolos because you got notes last week and you did the practice on the difference between Preterito and Imperfecto, but sometimes it's just a lot easier when you hear it and you see it. So I'm going to do a short-ish video on la diferencia entre el pretérito y el imperfecto. First off, in case you are confused about even that or what that means, remember there are two different forms of the past tense in Spanish. Pretérito is what we'd worked on for a really long time before the quarantine. Those verb endings sound like the e hasta o, amos hastes aron, or the I, iste, io, imos, istes, ieron for the IR verbs. They had a whole crap ton of irregular verbs. That's where we had like the Twinkle Twinkle song, traje, tuve, puve, li, supe, pude, puse, fui. So like all those irregular verbs with the preterite and stuff like that. Imperfecto, we just talked about those endings. We did a crash course right before the quarantine. They were a lot easier. AR verbs were the ones that ended in aba, or for ER verbs, ia. So you had verbs that were like, sounds kind of funny, like hablaba y trabajábamos and stuff like that. The main thing we're concentrating on from now until the end of this unit is going to be the difference of when to use each past tense, pretérito and imperfecto. So the way I like to always look at it is kind of like a timeline. Like if this is a timeline of my life, first off, sorry for the cat, you can look at it in a couple different ways. You can look at it as a series of events, right? So if I'm talking about myself, I might say, Señor woke up. Señor drank coffee. Señor went to school. Not anymore, but in the past, right? Señor taught a class. Señor bought a turtle. Señor drove home. Señor was attacked by a polar bear. I don't know, right? We're just, all of those are like events that are completed. They're all things that have started and finished, and we know it. I woke up. I ate breakfast. I'm not still eating breakfast. Even if I don't state a specific time, you know that it's something that is finished. Imperfecto, the second one, is a lot more broad and general, and it's used with something like if I said, I used to work at a library. It's true, I used to work at a library. I'm not telling you a start and ending point, and there's not a defined start and ending point there. How many times did I work in a library? I don't know, right? If I said, yesterday I worked at a library, that would be a completed event you could put on that timeline, and that would be then preterite. But saying that you used to do something is more of the other past tense, imperfecto. See? In fact, when you put a verb into that aba or ia ending, it implies used to most of the time. Right? We also use imperfecto as something that is ongoing in the past. So like if I said that I was doing something, that's not necessarily a completed event, so I would use imperfecto. Lastly, let me break it down with a little, just kind of side by side. So pretérito, we like to say, is used with completed events. Usually action words. Something that happened a certain number of times, like I watched the movie 2 times, would be a preterite instance. Or if we mention a length of time that we did something, even if it's for a long time, like I worked in Toma for 15 years, we would use the preterite form of the past in Espanol. Imperfecto, again, is used with when you used to do something. See? I used to own a turtle. Something that is habitual. So when we use frequency words in the past, like sometimes I did this, I never did this, I always did this. We're not talking about a completed action there. We're talking about a very broad, indefinite number of times. Something that is continuous. So that's where you have like the was doing something. That's not a completed action, that's continuing on, that's ongoing. And then lastly, with any sort of emotion or description. So as you are doing the Goldilocks story, so by emotion description meaning like I was happy or it was sunny outside would be a description. So when you're doing the Goldilocks story this week and you look at the English translation that you have, think to yourself, is this a completed action in the story or is this something that is ongoing? Is it a description, right? That's kind of going to be your main telltale stuff. There are keywords to help you out also. But that is the gist of it. So, I guess a quick couple of examples to maybe make it a little bit easier. All right, if you want to pause this so you can think about it yourself for a second, go ahead. Let me just go through it. So, ayer ir a la biblioteca. Siempre mirar videos con mis padres. I know I didn't give a subject here, we'll just assume it's yo. Okay? Yesterday I went to the library, is how you define that in English, how you translate that in English. Always I watched videos with my parents, or movies with my parents. I always watched movies with my parents. The first one would be a completed action, so you'd use preterite. It's irregular verb, but a very common one, fui. The second one is ongoing or habitual because you always did this. We don't have a completed action with this. It's very broad. So you'd use imperfecto and it would be miraba. Okay, I hope that helps. Gracias. Hasta luego.